What's up, Dawg Pound? Are you locked in for another wild ride of Browns mayhem? Today, we're diving deep into a rumor that's lighting up the NFL like fireworks on 4th of July. Kirk Cousins, yes, the former Vikings gunslinger, just sent a message loud and clear to Cleveland. Hey, Browns, there's still time to make the call. Yep, you heard that right. Whispers around the league say Cousins, the same QB who once battled us in the NFC North, might be leaving the door ajar for a shocking reunion with his former play caller, Kevin Stefanski, this time in orange and brown. So grab your coffee and H&s, your beer, WE, or wave that Browns flag because we're about to dissect a storyline that could reshape the future of our franchise. So what's the buzz? For those not glued to every snap, Kirk Cousins is a 36-year-old veteran quarterback who carved out a reputation as a precision pocket passer, ice-cold accuracy, and a brain built for dissecting defenses. He's tormented more than a few secondaries over the years, and here's where it gets juicy. Back in 2018 and 2019, Stefanski was the offensive coordinator in Minnesota. Under his guidance, Cousins ran a streamlined, lethal offense. They had chemistry, trust, and results. A pairing as smooth as peanut butter and jelly, but wait. What's he doing on the bench? Fast forward to 2024. Cousins inked a whopping 4-year, $180 million contract with the Falcons, $100 guaranteed. It looked like a match made in football heaven. Until it wasn't. Cousins sputtered, 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, the worst in the league. Then came the ultimate gut punch. He lost his starting role to rookie Michael Penix Jr. in December. Now he's riding the pine in Atlanta, a seasoned vet with a massive paycheck, a bruised ego, and something to prove. Where do the Browns fit? Let's call it like it is. Our QB room is a chaotic chessboard. Deshaun Watson still hasn't lived up to the hype or the historic contract. Kenny Pickett shows flashes, but hasn't exactly ignited the Dawg Pound in the 2025 draft. We doubled down on the future, selecting Shedur Sanders and Gabriel. They're the next generation, no doubt. But are we ready to toss a rookie into the fire immediately? That's where Cousins could play the role of stabilizer, a proven leader who can hold down the fort while the young bloods marinate. Social media meltdown. Now for the wild part. On March 28, 2025, rumors exploded after fans claimed Cousins was spotted at a Chipotle in Westlake, Ohio. No lie, money. Someone posted a pic, and Cousins himself jumped on X, formerly Twitter, to play along. Double chicken salad bowl never lets me down. Boom. Internet, broken rumors, on fire, fans losing it. Is it really that far-fetched? NFL insiders like Zach Jackson, The Athletic, have floated Cousins as a legit possibility. He knows Stefanski's system has a working relationship, and more importantly, he's hungry to prove he's still a starter in this league. Even more direct, word is Cousins said Cleveland can still pick up the phone. I'm available, let me prove I still got it, but not so fast. There's a wrinkle. Cousins has a no-trade clause. He controls his destiny, and according to Albert Breer, Sports Illustrated, he's hesitant about joining a team that just drafted quarterbacks high. That means he might not want to walk into a locker room already housing two fresh faces like Sanders and Gabriel. It's not just about opportunity, it's about being the guy. For the 4th consecutive year, Pittsburgh will roll out a new starting QB in week 1. That's not coincidence. That's systemic dysfunction. Whether it's Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, or a shocking twist like Aaron Rodgers unretiring, the uncertainty is deafening. If they gamble on Rodgers and it backfires, disaster. Imagine waiting months for him, only to watch him flame out or walk away. Tomlin's entire career could hinge on that roll of the dice, but the chaos doesn't stop there. Shift your gaze to Cincinnati, where the Bengals are flirting with a defensive meltdown. The Trey Hendrickson contract standoff is spiraling. This is a guy who quietly delivered back-to-back dominant seasons with 17.5 sacks. He was promised a payday, and instead, the front office says, sorry, no money. Why? Because they procrastinated on paying JMR, Chase, and T. Higgins. Now, the bills come due, and the cap can't handle it. Classic case of financial mismanagement. Hendrickson accounted for half of Cincinnati's total sacks last season. Half if he's traded, cut, or holds out. This pass rush collapses completely. They were already 25th in the league in sacks. Without him, they plummet to the bottom. No pressure, no disruption, no hope. 1/3 of their QB pressures came from Hendrickson alone. Remove him, and this defense becomes a mirage. Dangerous on paper, powerless on the field. Now to Baltimore, quiet, composed, and reliably predictable. The Ravens continue to be the model of consistency. If they win the division this year, they'll be the first in AFC North history to do it 3 times consecutively. But here's the issue. The pattern is stale. 10 to 12 wins, check. home playoff game, check. Exit before the Super Bowl, check. It's a script on repeat. Ravens fans won't grumble about January football, but let's be honest. The ceiling feels cemented, and now we return to ground zero. Cleveland. Because this quarterback room, it might be the most volatile in the entire NFL. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedur Sanders, and possibly Deshaun Watson attempting a return from a second torn Achilles. Tonight, this is not a depth chart. This is a demolition zone, beautiful, explosive, and nerve-wracking. Let's be real. Flacco feels like the week one starter. He's experienced, composed, and dependable, but the man is 40. How long can he hold the line? And let's not forget, Joe Flacco hasn't played a full 17-game season since 2017. The likelihood that he navigates an entire campaign without getting injured or benched, slim to none. And if Flacco stumbles or Father Time finally pulls him under, then what? Do you toss Dylan Gabriel or Shedur Sanders straight into the inferno? Because here's the plot twist. That fire might be blazing across the Atlantic. That's right, week 5, Browns versus Vikings in London. Do you really want a rookie quarterback making his first NFL start on foreign soil, jet lag? Media chaos. A different field. A different continent. That's not development. That's a setup for disaster. So what's the likely scenario? Flacco steers the ship through the first 6 weeks. Let's pivot to the reality check the schedule. This isn't just about who starts week 1. It's about how the Browns survive a gauntlet of an opening stretch that could crush weaker teams before the autumn leaves even begin to fall. The early matchups, winnable but laced with danger. Then comes the pressure cooker. Weeks 4 and 5, including that treacherous trip to London. An international showcase game loaded with every logistical nightmare you can imagine: jet lag, time zone chaos, unfamiliar turf, foreign crowds, media frenzies. It's a minefield. If Flacco falters overseas, the dominoes fall fast. Do you really return from the UK jet lag and sleep deprived only to throw a rookie into the fire against the Pittsburgh Steelers? With just a few days of real practice, that's not strategy. That's sabotage. But let's say, for argument's sake, Flacco survives the storm. He holds the line through week 6. Week 7 becomes the battlefield. The Browns return to Cleveland after nearly a month away. The opponent, the high-octane Miami Dolphins, a team that blitzes like mad dogs and plays with speed that burns. That's the moment. That's the flashpoint. If a QB change is coming, it's coming here, home game. Full week of practice, fan base behind you, the perfect stage, and here's where the fan base divides. On one side, the Dylan Gabriel believers, analytical, patient, trusting the vision, was a third-round pick. He fits the offense. Let's see what he's got. On the other side, the Shedur Sanders movement, passionate, vocal, electrified, forget the draft. This guy is a star. Put him in and light the spark. But here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to admit. What if they're both wrong? What if neither Gabriel nor Sanders is truly ready? What if the Browns are staring down another season of false hope and shaky quarterback play? What if 2025 becomes yet another chapter in the long, agonizing book of almost? Go Browns. The future is being written one rep at a time. There's something profoundly disheartening about being misjudged, especially when you're young, gifted, and perpetually under the microscope. People see the headlines, not the hustle. And in today's clout-driven culture, where perception often trumps reality, one NFL rookie has drawn a bold line in the sand, and it has nothing to do with touchdowns. This is a story of controversy, conviction, and a twist no one anticipated. It all began with a viral tweet, slick, shallow, and instantly addictive. A high-profile football aggregator claimed that Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedur Sanders had splurged on a custom $500,000 Rolls-Royce. The post painted a picture of excess luxury, ego, and self-indulgence. Within minutes, the internet did what it does best. As it exploded, critics and fans flooded comment threads, questioning the young QB's focus and priorities. But instead of surfing the tidal wave of flex culture, Sanders slammed the brakes. He called the post an outright fabrication and delivered a message that cut through the noise. I'm focused on my team, not a car. His response wasn't dramatic. It wasn't viral bait, but it was powerful. In an age where silence often implies guilt, Sanders chose transparency. This wasn't about denying gossip. It was about reclaiming his story. And for a 5th-round pick fighting tooth and nail to earn his spot, that kind of clarity echoes louder than any press release. Rewind to draft weekend. Pick after pick ticked by. The spotlight dimmed. And then finally, on day 3, Cleveland made the call. Round 5, a moment that cost Sanders millions in guaranteed money and stripped away the early career fanfare most top-tier quarterbacks receive. But here's the twist. He didn't sulk. He didn't spiral. He focused. He leaned into the grind. That kind of grit isn't manufactured. It's forged in silence, under pressure, fueled by hunger. Now let's pause here. What's your take? Are you all for players clapping back on social media? Is it a sign of maturity and accountability, or a slippery slope in today's hyper-reactive world? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want the truth behind the headlines, raw, unfiltered, and real, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because in today's NFL, franchises don't just draft athletes, they draft narratives. And sometimes the storyline that forms before the cleats ever hit the field is louder than anything we'll hear on game day. That's especially true in Cleveland, a city where hope has lived on the edge for decades. The fans are tired of empty promises. They want results. They want grit. They want proof. So when the Browns made a decisive top 5 move on draft night, trading down from the no to pick, it wasn't surrender, it was strategy. A calculated shift that allowed Cleveland to remain inside the top 5 while securing one of the most dominant defensive phenoms in the nation. Some called it risky, but insiders knew better. This was surgical. That move led directly to Mason Graham, a cornerstone defensive tackle with championship DNA. The Browns inked him to a $40.08 million rookie contract on day 1 of OTAs. His signing bonus alone, $26 million, speaks volumes about how highly Cleveland values his presence. No drama, no drawn-out negotiations, just cleats on grass and a locker with his name already etched into team culture. When a franchise signs its guy before he takes a single snap, it means one thing above all else aligned between belief and vision. Before Mason Graham became Ohio's next defensive anchor, he was terrorizing offensive lines in Ann Arbor. In his final season at Michigan, he tallied 46 tackles, 7 for loss, and 3.5 sacks, powering a defense that helped lift the Wolverines to a national title in 2023. But while Graham solidifies the trenches, the real wild card remains Shedur Sanders. Is he just noise, or is he silently setting the stage for a quarterback revolution in Cleveland? Could his calm defiance and relentless drive become the catalyst for a cultural shift, or does his star power clash with the locker room's chemistry? Tell us what you think. This is your team, your city, your future, and if you're tired of surface-level hot takes and want the kind of inside breakdowns that no one else is delivering, subscribe now and turn on notifications. The Browns story is far from over, and what's happening behind the scenes might just be the most important chapter yet. Breaking news, the AFC North is on the verge of detonation, and the Cleveland Browns are smack in the eye of the storm. What's happening right now in Berea, Ohio? It's not just exciting, it's electric, and frankly, it's a little terrifying, not just for Browns fans, but for the entire division. If you thought last season's drama was wild, buckle up. What's unfolding now could redefine the balance of power across the NFL. Before we go further, smash that like button. If you've been riding with the Cleveland Browns for over 20 years, drop a Let's Go Browns. We're going to the Super Bowl this year in the comments because, yes, we still believe. Let's start with the most fragile fault line in the division. The Pittsburgh Steelers, believe it or not, Mike Tomlin, Mr. Consistency himself, the unwavering face of the Steelers for nearly 2 decades, might be coaching for his job. That's not a rumor. That's a roar. Thank you, guys.